Welcome to part 3 of the Lifting Journal Pro. I've gone ahead and created a 6-month long journal entry. It consists of a repeating routine of back, biceps, triceps, legs, chest, and shoulders. It consists of 78 unique lift days and 234 journal entries. Now that the data has been entered, we can start pulling advanced metrics. First thing we want to do is go to the summary table worksheet. Here we'll find a pivot table that's linked directly to the journal. This table data is updated automatically every time the workbook is opened. However, if we make changes to the journal, we'll want to make sure that this table data is updated before we evaluate it. To do that, we right-click anywhere in the table and choose Refresh. Looks like this data is already up to date. We can also see that once we click on the table tools, or the pivot table tools, now becomes available. This is what we use to modify the pivot table to whatever our needs are. However, for the time being, we're going to skip customization and focus on the default layout of the workbook. A future video will cover how to make changes to the pivot data. What we can see is by default, we have exercises sorted by muscle groups. For each exercise, we have the max working weight of that exercise, we have an average weight of that exercise, and then average sets and reps. We also have the total volume for that exercise, and at the bottom we have our maximum weight of any exercise, our average for all exercises, and average sets and reps for all exercises, and then finally our total volume for our entire data set. We can modify our data set by choosing the filters that are available at the top of the table, and by default there is year and month. We could go to 2013 in this case, and we can see that the data is updated accordingly. The 715,000 volume is now 417,000. We could filter this even further to a particular month, and we can see that since we're repeating the same routine, we have the same exercises, but the max weights and the volumes are decreasing. If we go back to our full data set from the entire journal, we also have additional options available to us by collapsing muscle groups and removing muscle groups, or focusing on a specific muscle group. In addition to using the pivot table, we can also use pivot charts. Let's start by looking at the summary chart worksheet. Here we find a pivot chart. We can click on the chart area and we can see it is customizable using the same set of pivot tools. By default, this is filterable by year and month. It shows values of min, average, and max working weight for any particular exercise or set of exercises. We can filter to a specific set by simply selecting those exercises. The next chart, muscle group chart, shows volume for each muscle group. It too is filtered by year and month by default, but it is customizable using the same set of pivot tools. We can highlight over the pie, and we can see volume and percentage for each muscle group. Muscle groups can also be selected and unselected as desired. Finally, we have a max weight by exercise breakdown, where we can select a particular exercise. In this case, we could do pull down lat wide grip, and we can see a breakdown of working weight by date lifted. We can highlight over a particular bullet to get specifics, or we can read from the horizontal and vertical axes on the graph to determine our lifting performance. With this, we can see that we have a number of tools available to us that pull data directly from the journal and allow us to quickly and efficiently analyze our lifting performance.